Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. So we're going to continue on in our Express project, our to-do project. And when we left off, we were editing main.ejs, and basically what happened is that our loop was not working. Okay, and the reason why it was not working is because I did to-do in data when it should be to-do of data. Okay, so for to-do of data, then it iterates. So now let's test that out. This thing will let me save. There we go. And let me just make sure my server's running, and my server's still running. Good. And let's go to the page. Well, not my YouTube page. Okay. Over here, let's refresh. I won't show anything because I need to log in. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now it is working. So you see here, there's the title of the to-do, there's the subject, and let's see if I created another one. And now it shows two. Okay, not the prettiest setup. Now if I took off the... Oh, my alarm went off. Okay. So if I were to take off the outline so you can kind of see what it's doing. So let's take off some of this other stuff, like let's take this out that we use to test. Okay, and that's good for now. Okie dokie. So really, the issue is we need to be able to, one, delete our to-dos and be able to mark our to-dos as done. So the question is, how are we gonna want to do that? Probably the simplest way we could do that is we can make it where you click on it and it just puts sort of changes the style to a strike through. So let's think about how we're gonna do that. So what we're gonna do is maybe add a button to each one just to keep it simple. Oh. Button to each to do. So it's gonna be part of our loop. And then we'll call it completed. Which, in hindsight, what we should do in our... No, that's the wrong app. In our tutorial to do app, our model should have included a field to keep track of whether a to-do is completed or completed. So, and the issue with that is if I go back and change a model at this point, so if I were to go back and add the field for, like a Boolean for completed, not completed, I would then have to delete my collection or change the name of the collection I'm storing it to. Because once a collection starts, like you make one post with it with your schema, it just continues applying the same schema. It's just kind of in there. So if you change the schema, you need to start with a fresh collection. So keep that in mind. So what I could do is I could add that field and then make this like to do 1 or something, or to do 2 every time I change the schema, so that way I'm not having to go back to Mongo Atlas and delete the collection manually. But to keep it simple today, we'll just say, hey, when you click complete, it'll delete the to do. Simple enough. Okay, so cool. Now leave that alone. Let's close some of these tabs. We got a lot of tabs. Don't need to do anything there at the moment. We may be going to index. Actually, I don't think I need index.js at the moment. I will need my to-do controller. So we have this button. I'm debating whether I want to do it as a form or as a button. Let's do it as a button, just to kind of explore our other options. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do an on-click event. Okay, and the on-click event is going to play, or it's going to use the, let's call it, we'll call it delete. Keep it simple. Okay. I'm just thinking about that if that's the best way to do this. 'Cause I can't put that in there. So probably actually it's better to do this as a form because I need to pass in the ID of the individual button. Okay, and since I don't have a way to pass it through there at the moment, I will do it this way. So what I'm going to do is here, we're going to have form action. We'll change the route in a moment. And we're going to get rid of all this. All we need is the button. So the input submit button. So I'm going to change this over here to create to do, because we want to make sure that that says create to do going forward. And then here you say to do completed. Cool. Okay. And now we need to send this to our delete route. So we need to figure out where our delete route is. Which is going to be right there. Which is just basically the root of to do with the index of. So it should be going back to main to do slash. Well, then we have to put in the ID. So we're going to use our EJS templating and put in the DID there. So it's going to be, since this is a to do part of our loop, it's going to be to do.id. Parentheses, verse this, then that. So that's going to put that there. And again, I need to make sure that it prints it there, so I need to put an equal sign over here. Now the problem is, it's a delete route, okay? It takes it as a delete request. Problem is, the method only can be post or get for a form. So I need to find a way to make that delete. This is where method override comes in handy. Okay, so what we're going to do is at the end of the route, where was it? Here. We're going to put question mark underscore method equals, pretty sure it should be all uppercase, delete. Okay, and then that should be good. So what this does is that method override will pick up on this query at the end of the URL and be like, oh, okay, this actually wants to send a delete request, not a post request. So it'll override the post request and send a delete. Okay, and then let's take a look at that delete route again. That's in our to-do controller. What the to delete route does, sends us back to, we wanted to send this back to our main to-do page. And so what it does, it goes into your to-do, find by ID and remove. It's going to use the ID in the URL, find it, delete it, and then send you back to to-do. So we should see it disappear. So save. Let's go back to our site, see, make sure it's all working. No, we gotta log in. Or there's an error. Let's take a look. Nope, server's running, so I need to log in. Yep, I gotta log in because none of my routes are showing. I mean, none of my to-dos are showing because it's not picking up my username. So we have to go back to the root. Log in with our test username. There they are. Just get rid of the outline. I'll take it out of the CSS in a moment. To do completed. Let's see if that works. And cannot post to do. Okay, so method. So it says cannot post, which means it didn't pick up on the method override, which means something went wrong with our syntax with the method override. Because otherwise it should have been saying cannot delete. So we need to examine how we did method override. So let me bring up another example where I used it. Let's see here, right over here. Make sure my syntax is right. Yeah, that's pretty much how I did it over here. Main.eajs, make sure to do method. Method put. What am I not seeing? That looks like it should be correct. Oh, but wait a second. Why is the form this color? That means there's something I didn't close right. Ah, I see. No, I don't see. Form action to do. That should be fine. Quotation, oh, okay, I see. There we go. Because I had quotations here, but I didn't have a quotation closing this quotation mark over here. So let's save that. Just compare, make sure I'm doing my quotations right. Nope, I don't even need quotations around the delete, so let me take those off. And there we go. Now we should be in business. No, that's not going to work. Let's go back. Let's refresh. Make sure that the new code is in effect. Good, I'm still logged in. So let's hit to do completed. And it works. Ha! So theoretically, this is essentially for the basic functionality of being able to create a user, log in, create a to-do, mark a to-do completed, or get rid of the to-do. It works. Again, you can style it, make it prettier. Now the things we can do is we can password protect the different routes. We don't want people getting to that page with the to-dos unless they're logged in. So what we do is we go back to our routes. We go back to our to-do controller. Actually, even before that, and again, I'm looking at the wrong app again. Okie dokie, user controller. Let me just take a look at what we have when we log in. Right session login true. Okay, good. We do have that boolean. So then we want to go to our to-do controller. Go to our root route, which is that page where you can do a to-do, and we want to password protect or login protect it. So what I want to do is wrap this whole thing in an if statement. So if rec.session dot login, I think it was. Let me just double check. Yep, right here. So rec.session.login equals true. So that's only going to be true if we have a username stored. So that works. Okay, rec.session.true. Then this is all going to get executed if that is the case. So let's see here. Let's just make sure that we are going to close that off in the right place. Good. That is where I'd like to close that. So that's where the true part ends. And then else, what we're going to do, we're just going to res dot redirect back to slash. Okay, so we'll keep taking them to that login page, that main page, until they're actually logged in. Okay, so that's what that's going to do. And I can do that to my other routes. So if I really wanted to, I could even do that to like all these other routes. That way I make sure that there's no sort of sneaky way they can create a to-do or anything like that. But definitely at least that one. So that way it's just a better user experience. If they can't access a page, that should only be accessible when they're logged in, because it'll be confusing. They'll think they're logged in. They're like, where's all my to-dos? So let's test that out. So first let's just see if I'm logged in still. Good, I'm not see, I wasn't logged in, so it sent me back to this page. So it works. That's great. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Like a couple other things you can do. Again, you can password protect your routes that way. Other bits and pieces to do to really kind of fancy this up. That's the main thing. You can sit there and create a, like, you could also do an edit And if you want to edit it, it works the same way. So the only difference is that when you do the edit route, you can, so our edit route in our to do is a put. So basically this is the actual route that edits it. So your form, we just have to do a method override of put. But essentially you could just use the same exact form you did to create the to do. You would just change it to send it to the put request, a put with the ID of the specific item. Actually, we can just build that in there. So let's just do that real quick. Main.ejs. So I could literally just use this exact form, this form we used to create the to do, and instead I'll put it in my loop and say edit to do will be the new title of this form. And that's all fine. And then what I could do is give it a starting value of the existing value. So go value equals, I'll put in the existing title, so it'll just be this thing, that thing, to do dot title, this thing, that thing. Cool. And just add that so that way when you see the edit field, it already has the existing value for that particular field. Same thing here, to do description. And again, we're sending it now to the same route. And again, the next part of the URL is the ID. So I'm just going to copy this over from our delete route. Paste that there, except now this is going to be a put request. Because put generally means that you're going to like edit something. And again, do I have to make everything like a delete request? Do I have to make a post request? You don't necessarily have to. I could theoretically make every route a get or a post request and just do it that way. Just be very careful what you do with the get request, because when you submit form as a get request, it does show up in the URL. So if you create a route that's a get request and they submit their password, well, their password's going to be in the URL, and you've just exposed them security-wise. So be careful for that. But you want code that other people can understand, and you don't necessarily want to be creating a bajillion different route permutations. So it's easier to use all the different verbs, so that way it's always /to do. I just have to change the request verb to get the different results. So in that case, this will go to the put version of to do. This goes to the delete version of to do, and that's just a little bit more semantic, a little bit easier to understand. Cool. So that should let me edit the to do now. Okay, let me just take a quick look at our edit route, just make sure that there's nothing I need to change there. But it looks pretty straightforward. It just takes your request body, takes the index that you pass in, searches for it, then submits the request body and says, hey, edit this. If it doesn't exist already, you feel free to make a new one, and then send you back to, well, we want to go back to do, not the index. There we go. And that's another thing you can do. Let's go back to our index.ejs. We want to make it where if you're logged in, you can't get to the login screen. So you only see the login screen if you're not logged in, and you only see the other screen. So let's see here. So where's our login route? Oh no, that's in users to do. Oh, well, but technically this is the route that takes you to the index.ejs. So let's edit it. Res.render.ejs. Well, we're gonna make this a little bit more complicated, so we need our curly brackets. And basically, once again, we're going to just ask the question, if rec.session.login equals true, oh, that's got to be equals true, which which makes me wonder. Again, 2 equals or 3 equal signs equals equality, which makes me wonder, did I do that right earlier, or did I accidentally assign it? That would be bad. So let me just take a quick look at that, make sure we got that fine. To do controller. Where was that? That should be up here. Oh. No, that's right. Here. If rec.session login. Oh, I didn't even test it for anything. Equals. Well, actually, I don't even need to. It's either true or it's false. So technically, it's just gonna check if rec.session.login is true, and then that's fine because it's a Boolean variable. So I can do that same thing here. You can tell I just woke up. So let's see here. True. Let's take that off. Rec.session.login. So if that exists, then this thing happens. Keep taking out the second piece of that. Well, actually, else. That thing happens. And then technically, this is what we want to happen if you're not logged in. So I'm going to take that out, cut, and put it down here. And then technically, if you are logged in, I want it to redirect you. res.redirect to /to-do. Okay, so this way it'll kind of tell if you're logged in, logged out. But right now there is no way to log out. We do have a route for that. So you go to user control. There is a route. It's a post request. It's a get request right here for a logout. So this one's pretty straightforward. You can just make a link somewhere that just says logout, and just takes them to user/logout, and then it'll log them out. So we can create that button pretty quick too. And what I will do is actually I want to add that to the navigation menu. So that's going to go back to our views over here, back to our partials. And my navigation menu was defined in my header EJS. So I'm just going to add one more of these. Okay. So I'm going to add that. We're going to call it logout. And it's just going to go to users, so /users/logout. Save. And when it logs out, I want it to take you back to the login page. So let me just make sure it does that. Logout. So rec.session.destroy. So if it's successfully destroyed, well, if it's an error, it'll, either way, it should just take you back to index. So actually, if it doesn't log you in correctly, it should take you back to to-do. If it does, it'll redirect you back to the login page, which is good, because it's if there's an error, and that's good. Okay, cool. So this should be working. So let's go refresh. Is my server running? Ah, okay, let's take a look. So this is why it's always good to be checking your terminal. Line 72 of tutorial, the index.js. So let's go back to index.ejs. I got a syntax error over here. No, not EJS, index.js. And let's see here. If, so, oh, I kind of see what's going on. Okay, so let's make sure, see what matches with what. Again, with your text editor, you can just put your things here, and you can see which. Okay, so I want to get rid of that. And I want to put that over here. Yep, that's how that should look. And let's see if this matches. Oh, this parentheses. This parentheses is matching nothing that I'm aware of. Not sure what this parentheses is doing here. It matches that, and then technically we need another parentheses over there to match the parentheses there. Okay, good. Okay, so you can see that little green line that helps match it up. So you want to make sure that everything has a closing and matching parenthesis or curly bracket and all that good stuff. And just to make it a little bit prettier, I want to do that and that. Okay, that makes it easier to read. Okay. Just make sure my server is running fine. Now my server is running fine. Now let me refresh. Cool. Now let's see here, test. Test, I log in. Good, I'm logged in. Now if I try to go back to the main page, so if I just further do this while I'm logged in, let's see, will it let me? Nope, sends me right back here. Good. But if I click log out, and it errors. Let's see why. It says cannot get user slash log out. So is that? Oh, I know why. Okay. Where's my header? This should be user slash log out. That's why. Save. So let's go back one. Let's refresh. Just make sure to see I'm still logged in or not. Yep. Okay. So then I'm gonna click log out. Yep, and it works. Good. So technically our app for the most part is fully functional. In the next and final video of this series, we're going to deploy it. We're going to see how to use Heroku and get the project up and running. So I'm going to probably do some cleanup, make it prettier. You do the same, make your app cleaner and prettier and all that fun stuff, and design it as you like. And I'll see you guys later on in the final video. See ya. And make sure to check out my website, alexmercedcoder.com, and join my networking Slack. Ciao.